And welcome. Let me start my camera. Welcome to the show. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much for jumping on with me on another cold, snowy Friday night. I don't know if this is hard to believe, but I guess if you're from Syracuse, then you get it. But yesterday was in the high 50s. Then the cold air mass came in, and we're back to snow and ice and down temperatures in the uh, low 20s. But that's the dynamics of Syracuse weather that you live in because any climate can change in an instant. Just like we saw this week, it's 40s, 50s, and then, and then a big patch of snow falls on you. And then I thought I heard next week it's going to go back up to, they're going to warm up back up to the 40s and the 50s again. And I'm just watching the weather for my work for work purposes in case I have to go out in very cold, snowy, and hazardous conditions, both for Citizens Bank and for the game tomorrow. I'm doing concessions for the SU basketball game tomorrow, and I heard that we're going to get more snow. A band of, or a snow squall band is going to dump upon us just before the end, or just by the end of the Syracuse basketball game. So I'm a little bit concerned about getting home, but I've driven in in snowy conditions before, and my car is all-wheel drive and it has snow tires on it, so I'm not that concerned. But if you think back to when I got the car stuck in the snowbank for plane day, that was not fun. But that was really getting stuck on the log. So to each their own, and we'll see what happens. And what I like to try to do in each show is do something a little bit differently. And today I figured later on in the show we'll have the trivia question of the night. And I think we'll also, because I'm a big game designer, we'll try our hand at playing a little game towards the end of the show. And then, of course, I have pictures, pictures, and pictures from my recent trip to Albany and Broad which uh, I'll get into the day. Well, if you listened to the show last week, then you know we were broadcasting from Albany after the trip to Broad that I took as part of the plane day tour. And so the day after the show, I took a walk down the Albany rail trail. It was not the rail trail. Albany has a rail trail, but then Albany has a has the Empire State Trail, and I took pictures and video of that, so I'll show you pictures and video of that, plus any of your comments. But uh, that's what you have to look forward to in the show. In the meantime, we're gonna go back to the music. And the strangest thing, I had this oldie but goodie, and by oldie I mean back in 1975. This oldie but goodie stuck in my head around dinner time, so I figured let's play it during the show. This is Joan Baez with Bob Dylan, with her cover of Bob Dylan's Lily Rosemary and the Jack of Hearts, right here on Jordan Hits 201. And for those of you who have just joined us, you missed out on a great song, lots of storytelling. I know it's old for my age and something maybe you would not expect me to play, but I, I got it stuck in my head as I was eating fish dinner. It's Joan Baez with her cover of Bob Dylan's uh, great song "Lily Rosemary and the Jack of Hearts," and that's an oldie but a goodie. And I only play these songs once in a blue moon, but I figured I had to play it. For those of you who missed the opening segment, I was just talking about the weather and how it was high 50s yesterday, not a cloud in the sky, beautiful to be out. And then overnight, we get a dramatic change in the temperature, colder, 20s, and there's snow on the ground. And then I heard next week that we're going to have more. We're going to have another warm up Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, highs back in the 40s and 50s, and then it's going to go down again. So that's what you call Syracuse and Central New York weather. You do not know what to expect. Speaking of another upstate New York town, now I want to show you pictures that I took last Saturday as I was getting ready to come home from my trip to Broadalbin for Plain Day. And what you're going to take a look at now are pictures from uh, the trail, the Empire State Trail, a section of the Empire State Trail in Albany, which actually Elizabeth pointed out. And what you're seeing here, I believe this is Jennings Landing, if I'm not mistaken. And that was about a mile in, and over you can see over across the river you can see Rensselaer, which I believe is the next town over. This is just south of Jennings Landing. What interested me were these overpasses that if you're in Rochester, reminds you of the can of worms, and what you're seeing is more on ramp. We're back to Jennings Landing again. Let me try and see if I can find. Well, this is a great example, and that's actually a pedestrian bridge that you can actually walk over. That's historic Albany, and these are blurry now. But this is a video of what the intersection looks like. I believe we're just under 787, and you can see a fantastic view of the city of Albany over in the distance here. And let me just see. And then that's actually a ship. I forget its name. I forget the name of that ship, but that's where I parked. And here you can see more of the on ramps, the off ramps, or the highway ramps over the highway ramps over the trail. I don't know. If Elizabeth, if you know what the name of the ship is, please tell me. I forgot. And every time I take a walk, every time I go out and do something, I always want to take a picture, and uh, and because I want to capture this forever, and it's good to hold on to the memories. So, and I don't know what this building is. That's one of the nature observatories. And what's the name of this? If you know what the name of this building is, you can tell me as well. And I'm sorry if I went too fast. And apparently, this is called the Henry Knox Cannon Trail. That's the historical mark, and that's Rensselaer. If Jennings Landing. So this trail looks pretty good, and I can't wait to come back in the spring and summer and actually bike this because I think, uh, well, from a walking perspective, it was good, but also I enjoyed it from a walking perspective, but I think I'm going to enjoy it even more from a biking perspective. It and also the rail trail. These trails in Albany are built very well. They're built for recreation and also for taking in the sights and taking in some of the history. That's the SUNY building, you think? Oh, that's the SUNY. Okay, thank you for this building right here is the SUNY. Okay, this building right here, Elizabeth tells me is the SUNY building. Oh, that's good to know. It looks pretty old. I wonder when it was built. Thank you for letting me know because I did not know what it was at the time. Uh, Probably that's the headquarters of the State University of New York. I'm guessing. We'll have and we'll have more pictures. We will have more pictures coming up. I hope you enjoyed my slideshow. And if you have anything to say, the DEC building is next door. Okay. So I don't have. Oh, that makes sense. This building here. So you're telling me that this building here is probably the U.S. Department of Environmental Conservation, where it looks like that. And then I'll have after the next music break, I'll have more pictures of the bridge over the 780 over this. Oh, not that one. I don't think I got a picture of that. Okay, and I don't have any pictures of the DEC building, unfortunately. And uh, when we come back, I'll try to show you more pictures, including the pictures over the bridge. You know what the ship is called? And then I have one last question. Hold on. Do you know what? Not here. Do you know what this ship is called? Or this boat is called. I saw it when I parked there, but I didn't really know what the name of that ship was called. Uh, oh, the green dome on the top. Let me go. I'm gonna quickly go back here and let's see. The green dome. That makes sense that the DEC building would have a green dome on. Obviously, Rensselaer. We'll figure this out later. Maybe I'm missing something and I just didn't. That's something else. Okay, well, we'll have to point that. I'm gonna take your word on this. I don't know why it's taking me a long time to find the DEC building. Oh, well, oh, this thing. This is DEC. This must be DEC, and that's next to the SUNY building. Oh, I see. Thank you for pointing that out. I wouldn't if I wouldn't have known. Okay. Thank you very much, Elizabeth, for helping me solve this mystery. And we'll get back to the music now. And when we come back, I'll show you some more pictures of the bridge uh, over 787, plus more. I want to play a game. And now mom is signed on, and I was just showing you I was just showing everybody pictures of the uh, the trail that I walked on in Albany as part of the Empire State Trail, and I'll show more pictures after. And we're just about to take a break, and then I'll show you. I'll recap the pictures that I took and show you even more pictures when we come back. So enjoy yourself. And welcome back. In case you missed the last segment, we're going to recap. I'm going to show you the pictures of my trip down the path. This is actually down a segment of the Empire State Trail located in Albany, the east side of Albany. What you're looking at right now is a place called Jennings Landing. And then you can see that there's lots of highway overpasses under it. And actually, if you take that bridge, that'll get you on Route 9. It'll take you to East Greenbush. And then, oops. And then there is actually a pedestrian overpass, which I'll show you in a minute. But now it's time to show you the pictures of this bridge that goes over 787. And I think Brian's joining us. Welcome, Brian. And actually, this is upside down, but it's a picture of different people who put donors into these bricks. And then you can see the highway of 787. And then actually, according to Elizabeth, this building over here is the SUNY building. And we just have a little bit of a video, which is blurry on one side, but that's the SUNY building, and then next to it is the DEC building. And it's interesting. That's just the other side of the bridge looking back towards the trail. And as you can see, this was dedicated 20 years ago by the mayor of the city of Albany, Gerald D. Jennings, who I guess was that this landing was named after. And this is just a continuing on part of it. And so this is, according to Elizabeth, the headquarters for the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation. It's fitting that it has a green dome on it, given its mission, and given the fact that it deals with green energy or everything green. But what I don't get is where's the SUNY building in relation to the DEC headquarters? And here's where you can see more of the trail. This is a nice walkway, and over here on the other side of the river, you can see the town of Rensselaer. And I was walking on what was called the Henry Knox Canyon Trail, which I only did a mile up and a mile down, but I have a feeling because of this is, and by the way, that's the SUNY building. Because I had a feeling that this is the Empire State Trail, it probably goes on for more than a mile. I know it goes on for at least several miles, so I figured. And this is the pedestrian bridge I was talking about. If you take this pedestrian bridge, it'll take you on that highway overpass over there. What I'd like to do in the spring and the summer when the snow melts is I'd like to actually come back and ride my bike on this trail because from a walking perspective, it looks pretty impressive, and I'm sure biking on it would be much better. So I'm looking forward to that. And if you have any songs that you want to request, uh, please. Actually, we're going to take another music break, and then I want to talk about the updates that have been happening at the Great Northern Mall because a lot has been developed here, and um, it was very interesting what had gone on with the Great Northern Mall. Lots of story to tell you about them later. I want to play. I want to actually get you, the listeners, involved, and we're actually going to play a game, some sort of trivia or some sort of interesting, fun game later on in the show. You do not want to miss it, but because Brian's on, we're going to play one of his favorites, and I know this is something that you'll like. It's Ellie Goulding with Major Lazer and Taurus Riley, powerful right here on Jordan Hits 201. And oh boy, do I have a lot to say about the Great Northern Mall. If you know me, you know I'm a mall aficionado, and I actually, like many of you, or at least for uh, a lot of many of you listening, you probably know the how great the Great Northern Mall was back in its heyday, or back in the '90s, and even the 2000s. But uh, nowadays, it's just as somebody on the CNY Central News said, it's a skeleton. It's Most of the stores are gone, most of the stores are closed, and actually, until Thursday or Wednesday, the mall closed because of mechanical issues, frozen and burst pipes, a lot of roof leaks, mechanical HVAC issues, and things that have just fallen out of disrepair. So back in around mid-January, because of the burst pipes, they closed the mall, and I thought they were going to close for good because they don't have a lot of stores in that mall. Not a lot of people as who used to go to the mall uh, don't go there anymore. But it turns out that there's, for example, one tenant, the CNY Gym Center, that really depends on a presence there in the mall and for the mall to open. So I just I don't know what to think at this point. I'm glad that the mall is back open, but for the number of shoppers who actually go there for certain things, I know Bath and Body Works and Old Navy. Old Navy is the and Shoe Department is the only three big stores that are hanging on by, I would say, probably a little thread. Macy's, Sears, the movie theater, they're all gone. And actually, speaking of the movie theater, I went when the mall reopened. I went back to walk, and I actually noticed that some of the lights were actually on in the old vacant stores, including the movie theater, and I thought that was creepy. And I'll actually show you a picture of one of the old stores, and that's where the game's going to come in. Stay tuned for that. And speaking of which, speaking of walking into random people at the Great Northern Mall, yesterday I went back and I actually saw my old second grade teacher, Mrs. Patricia Musango, who I had not seen in at least several years, and my special education teacher in second grade, Mrs. Diane Fitzgibbons, who also has a son, Jonathan, who I took the Cisco networking class and did the winter drumline program in, and it was nice to see them. So I'm glad that there are a lot of people who actually use them all, or some people who actually use them all for exercise. But what the long term future of this property is, we're not going to know. I hope they do something that revitalizes the mall, like they're doing with the mall in Aronic Point and the community center. And I actually walked in the. If we can go back to my sharing screen here, I actually, because I worked in Rochester, I actually took a walk inside the mall at Grease Ridge. Look, oops, that's not the pic. That's Great Northern. We'll get to that back in a minute. And actually, they had this wing. They had this wing in the Grease Ridge Mall that showed different points or different attractions in New York State, and Syracuse University happened to be one of them. And uh, yes, they were mall walking, Rachel. They go every Thursday. And so, anyway, this is Syracuse University in part of the mall at Grease Ridge. Now, I want to play a game, and this is going to have audience participation. And I've never actually done this before, so here goes. The first listener, okay, the first listener to give me the name of the old store that used to occupy the space gets a prize, and by prize meaning you get to request the final song of the night. I don't have any other prizes to give away, unfortunately, but that's the rule. That's the question to all of you, and don't answer it now. We're going to, I'm going to have you try to guess in the chat over the music break, but your goal is to identify, to be the first person to identify the name of this store, the name of the store that used to occupy this now closed space in the Great Northern Mall. You guessed correctly, and you get to pick out the last song of the night. Good luck, and I'll have this. I'll also have this on. I'll have this on during. No, I guess I can't have it on during the music shows. But here's one last look, and then it'll be gone. Try to memorize, take a mental picture in your head, and I'll give you a few minutes to come up with a guess. If you're wrong, then I'm sorry you don't get anything. But if you're the first listener to correctly identify the store that once occupied this now vacant space in the Great Northern Mall, you get to pick out the last song of the night. So I wish everyone the best of luck. If you don't know it, it's worth having a guess. And the guessing will begin as soon as the next song plays, which is Kid Rock's All Summer Long. And I'll give you two songs to think about it, and we'll reveal everybody's guesses and the answer and possibly the winner after this. And welcome back. Congratulations, we have a winner. Uh, Thank you very much. Okay, we have a winner. I asked you, and I know we were going to play two songs, but we were running out of time. So I asked everybody. I asked you before the music. Identify the former store that occupied this space here in the Great Northern Mall. And actually, Rachel got it correct. Aeropostale. This used to be an Aeropostale store, at least back in the 2000s. And it feels weird just to see the lights on. And not every store, but there were a few stores were like this where the lights were on, and I could just flash back to the 2000 early 2000s when I must have been tagging along with Rachel and Mom as they were shopping for clothes here at this now closed but used to be Aeropostale store when and I saw those lights. So then flashback. There was I don't know if there was a Forever 20. I know Forever 21 was at Destin USA, and actually there was a Hollister store along with the Radio Shack and so many and an FYE, so many great stores that used to occupy the space of the Great Northern Mall. So, congratulations, Rachel. I had a feeling you would be the first to figure it out because you probably spent the most time there. And uh, yes, when you looked closer, the layout looked similar to what you remembered. Did the lights help? You probably wouldn't have guessed it with the lights off. Maybe you would. But congratulations, Rachel. So, as your prize, you get to request the final song of the night. So, what's it going to be? And if you don't want to request a song, just let me know and I'll play something. But yes, the lights help. So, do you have do you want to claim your prize? Please claim your prize. What song do you want to close us out with at the end of the night? I'll give you a few seconds to think about it. Okay, you let me pick. Great. Okay, I will choose a song that I'll choose a song for you. Okay. Probably, oh, here we go. This is kind of appropriate for what we're talking about. Almost thinking of demolitions and actually 81. We got word today that 81, the draft environmental impact statement has been submitted by the state to the federal government, and construction taking down the former or still current, the 81 bridges will commence sometime this year. So I figured this would be appropriate. It's Domino by Jesse J, and why it's appropriate is because one of the final lines of the chorus is "Take me down like I'm a domino." So I hope you enjoyed the show tonight, and we will be back do the same old thing, same time, same place. And thank you very much for. We don't have Quinn the Eskimo, unfortunately, in this system. And have a great night and Mazel Tov. This is Domino by Jesse J.